My friends, I have passed the 155,000 subscriber mark, and I want to thank all of you who have subscribed and who are members of my channel, joining at the Dumentite, Dominion, or Archvillain level, and gaining access to exclusive videos, emojis, and live streams. You guys are the best, and I thank you all very much for helping me meet this milestone. If you would, please check to make sure you are still subscribed. People get unsubscribed every single day. I've even had a channel member, an archvillain, get unsubscribed. Isn't that astonishing? Check to make sure you are still subscribed, and thank you for watching this video. Lucasfilm is a riddle wrapped in a misery inside an enigma. Star Wars fans all over the world have been wondering, what went wrong with that galaxy far, far away? How did such a magical thing become so bland and unimaginative? How can Kathleen Kennedy still be in her position after failure after failure? And is there any hope at all that things will get better? My friends, I have received some exclusive leaks from a source, information that may shed light on the civil war inside Lucasfilm, the tensions between Kennedy and Favreau as they vie for control of Star Wars, and the possible involvement of George Lucas moving forward. This information comes to me via sources claiming to be inside Lucasfilm or Disney through an intermediary who has given me valid information in the past. That said, I do not and cannot represent this information as true because I cannot independently verify it. I can only attest that I have received this information, and in discussing it, I am speculating about the implications of these leaks if they turn out to be true. All that said, treat everything you're about to hear as unverified rumor and take it with a grain of salt. To start with, let's examine some new allegations regarding how the Mandalorian came about and how this either created or worsened the rift between Kathleen Kennedy and Jon Favreau. If you recall, for a while, there was a Boba Fett movie planned as a Star Wars story standalone film in the same vein as Solo. Well, as we all know now, Solo bombed and failed at the box office, and this was such a shock to Disney that Bob Iger decided to hit the brakes before the car spun out into the canyon and announced a moratorium on future standalone Star Wars story films. But that didn't mean they were abandoning the concepts. Though the Boba Fett and Obi-Wan movies were canceled, Disney Plus was and is a ravenous beast that needs to be fed. And so Iger pushed to turn the movies into television series for their streaming service. The Mandalorian rose from the ashes of the Boba Fett movie conceptually and in terms of look and feel. All hands were called on deck to assist in the creation of The Mandalorian because after Solo failed so spectacularly, it was very important that the next Star Wars project succeed. Disney Plus was an ideal venue for The Mandalorian because at least if it failed like Solo, there would be no box office reports to confirm that it bombed, and the ratings could be hidden safely behind the Disney Plus paywall in the same way that CBS has managed to obscure how horribly Star Trek Discovery has performed behind the veil of its soon-to-be dismantled and absorbed streaming service. To maximize the chances for success, George Lucas himself was consulted, along with a number of other creatives and executives, including, unfortunately, Kathleen Kennedy. As development progressed, the question arose, what will be the overall arc? What will the Mandalorian be attempting to achieve? Perhaps he could be protecting someone? But what? I am informed it was Kathleen Kennedy's idea that the Mandalorian should be protecting a child. Not a bad idea. It harkens back to Lone Wolf and Cub. It's a proven and effective formula, and indeed, it has been successful. In turn, Jon Favreau came up with the notion that the baby should be a baby Yoda, and thus the die was cast, and this is, I am informed, how The Mandalorian came about. But here's where it allegedly gets very high schooly and ego-driven, as many things are in Hollywood. Fast forward a year. Baby Yoda turns out to be the real over-the-top saving grace for The Mandalorian. Women love him, men want to step on him. I'm kidding. The point is, Baby Yoda is a hit. OMG, he's so adorable with the frog and all that. Unfortunately, Baby Yoda is also where the alleged grudge between Kennedy and Favreau began in earnest. Why, you ask? My sources claim that in Kathleen Kennedy's mind, Baby Yoda was her idea, and she feels slighted that she didn't properly receive credit for the creation of Baby Yoda. Aside from feeling cheated out of her fair credit, according to my source, Kennedy was very unhappy with how the whole thing was implemented. Kennedy reportedly wanted so-called Baby Yoda to be Baby Yodette. In short, she wanted the baby to be female, not male. Furthermore, Kennedy wanted a female director for the pilot, and in defiance of that, Jon Favreau brought in Dave Filoni to direct, disregarding her wishes again. At that point, according to my source, the battle lines were drawn. It all seems very high school-y, doesn't it?
OMG, Baby Yoda was like totally my idea, and everybody is totally gaga over Baby Yoda, and you've got Jon hugging credit for it. And Dave Filoni, whatever. It's another boys club, a boy producer, a boy director, a boy Mandalorian, and a boy Baby Yoda. It's a sausage factory, and all the grody boys love it, and it was all my idea. Boys suck.
Well, regardless of whether or not boys suck, The Mandalorian certainly does not. It's the biggest success Disney has yet had making Star Wars, precisely because it pretty much looks and feels like Star Wars. Unfortunately, this has only escalated tensions between the Kennedy camp and the Favreau camp inside Lucasfilm. My source informs me they are almost done with Mandalorian Season 2 and are planning to start on Season 3 as soon as possible, given the current global situation. Well, I have been told that around 4 weeks ago, Kathleen Kennedy called Bob Iger to discuss Mandalorian Season 3, to talk about the initial script, the planned start date, and so forth. In the course of that conversation, Kathleen Kennedy learned that Favreau, Filoni, and George Lucas himself were already working on the script. To say this did not go over well would be an understatement. Indeed, I am told that Kennedy lost it, saying in effect that, quote, "I will have it my way or I will burn this silly nonsense to the ground." If this is true, it explains the flurry of activity over the past month or so. Kennedy is eager to flex her muscles and reassert control over the Star Wars franchise after feeling marginalized over The Mandalorian. This makes a lot of sense in terms of the Variety leak, wherein someone mysteriously leaked a story to Variety that Lucasfilm was developing a female-centric Star Wars series for Disney+. If this information is true, then it's easy to see how Kennedy might have felt blindsided learning the script was already being worked on without her involvement. And so a blindside in return might have seemed like some kind of payback. And of course, in this environment of Me Too, Iger being seen to cancel a female-centric Star Wars series could have been seen as untenable. So it was a clever way for Kathleen Kennedy to impose her will and force the show that she wanted down Iger's throat. At this point, my source says it is civil war at Lucasfilm. While the sides have reportedly boiled down to Jon and Dave versus Kathleen Kennedy in the past, it seems a new player has entered the great game, as George Lucas himself has gotten involved. This may have something to do with the brakes being put on the Obi-Wan series, but I have no information on that point. Interestingly, however, my source informs me that yesterday, James Earl Jones himself was spotted at Skywalker Ranch. Was he there to record some lines for Vader, or to discuss a future project involving Vader? Watch this space, folks. I will report developments as they are sent to me. All of these disparate threads of gossip, whispers, and tips may well be woven into a fabric suggesting that there may be a new hope for Star Wars. Maybe, just maybe, George Lucas is putting the band back together. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Doomcock bidding you all, my friends, stay hopeful, stay safe, and stay angry.
Ha 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 ha.